I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe for awesome food, great drinks, and the Sens Shuttle $17 round trip to and from the CTC. Following tomorrow night's game, there are a number of home dates on the schedule, including Thursday, where the pizza line will be honored December 5th. It's the start of a 4-game homestand. Get your tickets at theglebecentralpub.com. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Laleem's Martian after the Ottawa Senators fall 5-2 to the LA Kings in a game that was tied 2-2 going into the third period. Pilsy, how'd you see this one develop?
Well, another underwhelming performance from the Ottawa Senators in California. I mean, not as bad as the Sharks game, but the Sharks game, they find a way to win. This game, they find lots of ways to lose. They had the lead for, a minute? A 2-1 lead for a minute, and then the LA Kings score 4 unanswered goals and make it a 5-2 whomping of the Ottawa Senators. Like, this was, after that goal, Martian, when the Kings tied it 2-2, it was like the air out of the tires for the Senators, and they just were flat.
Yeah, I don't know. A little bit, Pilsy, I feel like, but not like all the way, I feel. I think that the Sens were actually, like, playing a good road game for the first two periods. It was like, for me, I was like, they set themselves up for success after the first two periods, and then that third period just, the empty netter, and then things get a little bit out of hand. I don't know. It wasn't a perfect execution, but I could see the process. I think that's where I'm at with that one.
And the LA Kings stingy at home all season long. I believe it's been it's almost a month since they've allowed more than 2 goals in a home game. So when Ottawa got up 2-1, you're feeling real good. It's Adam Gaudette, tip in front. This guy's unstoppable. His 12th goal of the season. But to give it right back, like the Ottawa Senators, I know that hockey, you can call it a complex game, but really at the end of it, it's pretty simple. You have to win in little moments in the game. The first 2 minutes of a period, Sens give up a goal in the first 2 minutes of the third period. When your team scores, the following 2 minutes have to be good. Ottawa gives up a goal within 2 minutes, 1 minute and 15 seconds to be exact, from when they take the lead till they give it back up. And then it was 2 momentum goals. The Sens gave up a goal 1 minute and 57 seconds into this game as well. So those moments in the game are huge. Ottawa only gets 1 opportunity on the power play, and it was one of the worst timing for that possible at the end of a period where it splits. You only get 1 minute and 35, I believe it was, start the second. It feels like those power plays are always the least efficient on the ice. So a frustrating game, I think, especially after 2 wins and knowing the way they played against San Jose. That pisses me off because they actually felt like they were skating. They didn't. I wanted double-digit shots in the first period. Ottawa got 4, 5. Oh, don't want. Hey.
Yeah, hey, come on now.
Hey, they had 5 in the first period. They did get double-digit shots in the second. Would you look at that? Their best period overall. I thought they carried the play. You look at the underlying numbers in this game, the expected goals at 5-on-5, 50-50. And this is not on Anton Forsberg. He made some great saves. The first one, on first glance, Pilsy, it looks like a bad goal, but the way everything it was almost like a little billiards play, really.
Yeah, or if you want to go to a different sport, it was the old knuckleball, because Forsberg thought that puck was going to come at him a lot faster to flex off JBD, and I think they said it on the broadcast, that puck was going about 35 miles per hour when it slid through Forsey's legs, like he was not ready for that deflection, and it looks terrible, especially when that's the first goal of the game, and especially when moments before Forsey made a huge pad save to, keep that puck out, try to have momentum for the Sens, and then that happens. They're down 1-0, and it just would be nice if the Sens could string along a couple games where they score the first goal. Like, just having that first goal scored against you all the time is so tough to build any kind of morale, because I'm sure the here we go again feeling starts settling in on the bench.
Well, what's that record again, Ross, when they've been scored against first in a game?
It's now 2-11-1 this season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so bad. I mean, like you think like the first goal in today's NHL, you should be able to battle back from that more often than that. I mean, 2-11. Oh my God, boys, that's poor. This is like, to me, that's just them giving up a little bit in their minds, and then like it translates right into their game immediately, and the other team feels it too. I'm sure. Like when you're in a hockey game, you know. When you have the other guys beat, you have them beat, and it's going to be an uphill battle, and they just aren't able to accept that challenge and like take it on, face on, like get your nose in there, get your chin tucked, let's get going here, and they just aren't able to do it right now, and that just leads me to think that like something's going to happen with this team. I think
I said in the mailbag yesterday that I was happy to wait until January before a trade gets made, but you look at, and the decor is just not good enough right now. Like I know Artem Zub's out, but one player out should not impact the game.
But he wasn't even that good when he was here, Ross. So like it's not like
if
Nick Jensen went out and this decor was playing poorly, then you're like, okay, that makes sense. But like it's not like Zub was coming in and he was shut down Zub. Like he was kind of a zero, if not worse, on a lot of nights anyways.
And you look at the LA Kings without Drew Doughty tonight. Ottawa lost to Vegas without Alex Pietrangelo. Like a lot of teams have been playing out without their top guy back there. Ottawa cannot get it done tonight. The shots 27-22 in favor of LA. The Kings go 1 for 3 on the power play, and we'll get to that one, which is really the backbreaker in this game. Senators lose in the faceoff dot. They win 42%. And they lose. They get outblocked 20-14, out hit 36-31. Like Martian, where did this one fall apart for you? I guess would be where I'd start. Was it at 2-2, or are you going all the way back? You let in a goal in the first 2 minutes, because I thought they rebounded pretty well after that. The late goal in the first period definitely gave me a little bit of hope going forward.
No, it's later than that for me, Ross. It's the Anze Kopitar goal was the one that just completely put the game away for me. It was just like that. From that point on, I knew the Sens were done. They weren't coming back from this thing. So that was the 3-2 goal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, game winner.
Yeah, that's the game winner, and it was said and done from then on. They had, I think it was like another 14 minutes after that goal was scored to get it done after that, and I knew they were not going to just like bear down and do what they needed to do to win the game. And that's sad to say as a fan. We should not be that aware of our team that we're like, oh, I know these guys so well. They've all been here. How long have all these, like most of these players who are on this team have been here for at least 3 years, right? And then the rest of them, it's just like, whatever, the throwing guys. But these guys, we know these players, and when they're not there, we know it pretty quickly, which we should be doing a lot better on our sports betting accounts, boys, based on that.
Yeah,
Sens favorite again.
I mean, I feel like I know
when a bunch this year.
Don't you know, like within the first 10 minutes of a game, if the Sens are going to win or not? I feel like I do.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that way, especially when it's the tipping point of who scores first has such an impact on whether the Ottawa Senators are able to win or lose games, because this team can barely win when they have the lead. Like when's the last time we saw a puck line win, boys? The Leafs?
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah.
I mean, they've won twice since then, Billsy.
And 4-3. Yeah. Like even when like that Calgary game, like they almost let it slip away. Up against the Sharks, like they almost let that one slip away. Like this team cannot hold on to leads and build on them.
And since then, the Leafs haven't lost, I don't think, since that game.
And they've been without Matthews. Like, Jesus.
We got to get to the breaking point for me. It was 3-2. You're able to get a little bit of pressure. Huge save from David Riddick on a seam pass. I believe Drake Batherson was the guy on the receiving end of the pass.
Made the pass.
Yeah, Norris made the pass. And that save, you felt like, okay, you can build off of momentum. No, the Ottawa Senators take their second too many men on the ice penalty of the game. First one, they didn't touch the puck, so I was a little bit on the Sens side there. Like, how are you going to give them a whistle when they didn't touch the puck? They didn't have control of it. We see line changes like that all the time. But this one, there's no arguing it. Ridley Gregg just jumped on the ice and nobody came off.
Yeah, the reverse camera angle of that from the long end of the ice was so bad, because like normally, like you mentioned, Ross, like there's at least like a crisscross, or like a guy's about to come off and maybe it's a long change and the ref doesn't like it. But this, I don't know what Ridley Gregg is doing. It's like a beer league guy that just wants to get extra minutes and just hops on the ice not caring. Like, that was just completely on Ridley Gregg. Like, I can't believe Green didn't put Gregg in the box just to be like, no, I want everyone to know, yourself included, that was on you. Because the coaching staff gets blamed all the time when that's a penalty. As soon as that penalty is called, it's a tight zoom on the coach being like, yeah, that's on you. No, that one was on Ridley Gregg.
Yeah, I mean, we're not on the bench, so obviously we don't see how the conversation goes, but it looks so egregious. I thought Ridley Gregg had a good game up until that point. Just frustrating, man. It really is. And look, Ridley Gregg hasn't really produced offensively, at least on terms of goals. He's had a couple nice double assist games in recent memory, but I think we got to get to it pretty quickly here. The invisibility cloak, and you can see if the thumbnail on today's postcast, it's just white. That's actually all the Sens secondary scoring in that photo. Where are these guys?
I mean, yeah.
What are they doing?
We talked about Amadio enough, I think, already about tonight's game. But like guys like Shane Pinto, where's Shane Pinto? Guys,
well, he's playing with Michael Amadio.
That can't be the problem. That's just maybe a chemistry issue, is what you're saying? But
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. But like, I mean, that's not the Shane Pinto we're used to seeing. I mean, we know this guy. We've watched him for years, boys. Even prior to when he was an Ottawa Senator, I remember the three of us watching UND games and watching this guy dominate with his offensive skill.
World Juniors
and the World Juniors, and he's got a great shot. He's a good skater. He's a big body. There's no reason he shouldn't be having way more success than he is right now. And I'm wondering if it's just ice time related. Maybe he needs more ice time to get engaged in the game. Maybe it's a personality thing. This guy, like, we know what he's like off the ice. He's a little goofy. He's like a little funny. He likes to joke around. Maybe he's not intense enough. Maybe it's like a Brian Burke, Bobby Ryan situation.
We've seen intensity with him, though. I'm convinced he's hurt. He has to be hurt. He's losing every puck battle. Like, in the offensive zone, they're one and done because they can't win battles. And Michael Amadio was brought in to win battles. He was losing every battle down low.
Yeah, okay. Well, if that's the case, then take him out. Like, let's let him rest and get him healthy, because he's not helping the team right now the way he's playing.
Well, they've already got Cole Reinhardt's up. Zach Ostapchuk's up. Like, well, the depth on this team was questionable before.
Ostapchuk was good, I thought, tonight. He was physical as hell. I think he had 5 hits credited to him going into the third period. So I don't know what he ended up with. But
ripped his jersey too. You're working hard when your jersey's scratched up.
Yeah, he wasn't lacking for effort, at least with Zach Ostapchuk. But like, yeah, Ross, if Pinto's hurt, then he just needs to maybe just take a couple games off to get like a little bit right. You know what I mean?
I don't know what the answer is. They do have 3 full days off after tomorrow's game.
I mean, we left. Well, that conversation. We can't move on without mentioning Josh Norris either, who is the master of the invisibility cloak. He's like, I tweeted it out. It's Harry Potter in the restricted section, boys. He is invisible. This guy, he had one good chance to shoot in that third period, and he passed it up to try to make the fancy play. And I think he's just at that point in the game, boys. You're down 3-2. You gotta rip that puck.
You talking about the play he made to Batherson? You didn't like that pass?
No, I think he should have shot the puck.
Yeah, I thought it was a good try to get that pass there.
It was a good idea. Too
Yeah.
cutesy. If that's a playoff game, you want that guy shooting that puck. You get
especially when you have a shot like him.
You
Yeah,
get that into the net, and it's Josh Norris. He's the guy who's put on earth to score goals. That's what we talked about, right? That's what he does. He should be burying that puck, Pilsy.
Yeah, I like the idea for the pass. It was a big save by Riddick, but I get it. If you're Josh Norris in the slot, why not take it? Like, no one's going to be like, why is Josh Norris shooting there? So that's fair.
I want him shooting that puck, Bills, 10 out of 10 times. That's if that's who is on, it's on his stick, he should shoot that puck. He should know that.
Josh Norris did have 2 shots on goal tonight. Shane Pinto is 0. It's the second time in the last 3 games where Shane Pinto has 0 shots on goal.
And he's now on a 10-game pointless streak. 10 games, no points.
Yeah, he had 3 points in the first 5 games of the year. The Sens are 3-0 when he gets a point this year.
Hello.
I know. You need more. And look, I get loading up the top line and putting Adam Gaudette up there with Stützle and Tkachuk. Stützle scores his 10th of the year. Gaudette gets his 12th of the year. But when you do that, it's crazy to say with a guy like making league minimum. But moving Gaudette up there has taken everything out of the bottom 6. It is at best a 50-50 shift with the bottom 6 right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a lineup guy. Like I'm not a fan who thinks he can coach the team. But crazy idea: take Norris off center, put him at right wing, left-handed shot with Tkachuk and Stützle on the top line in Gaudette's spot. Put Gaudette back down in the bottom 6. Move Pinto up. Boom. All of a sudden, the balance is there, and Norris's strengths are being leveraged, and I think that everyone else is going to benefit from that. Pinto's going to get more ice time. He's going to get more touches. He's going to feel better about himself. Yeah, I think that I feel like that's an easy fix. Like you look at a shooter like Josh Norris. I'm going to be real with you. He's pretty much useless unless he's shooting the puck.
I've liked his work on the penalty kill, though. I'd like to take time to give him credit. He's done a lot better, and he's put a lot of work in to be a good penalty killer. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like that idea by me.
I mean, Martian, at this point, there's no bad ideas.
There's no bad ideas.
Yeah.
There really isn't. And sound off in the chat as well. I am curious to know what the fix is. And don't just say trade everybody, because that's just not realistic. The Ottawa Senators now finishing the month of November with a 5-8-1 record. So we're on to December. That's the good news. The bad news is they're second last in the division. They're second last in the Eastern Conference, and hope is starting to diminish among the fan base. Our guy, Jack Richardson, will be in the mix next week. He says, why wasn't Linus Ullmark starting in goal? I know that's something you want to touch on, Pilsy, but for me, like, that didn't win or lose the game for Ottawa tonight.
No, it didn't.
No, but I think just to me, the LA Kings are the stronger opponent, and you want to put your better goalie against that team.
But I think on the spin zone, Martian, people would say Forsberg has been your better goalie.
That's not proper, though, Pils. I think that you have a number 1 goalie, do you not? It's Linus Ullmark. So play him against the better team. And I don't know what kind of conversations go on in the background either, right? Because it could very well be that they talk to Ullmark and he chooses to play against the weaker team, which is
no, I doubt it.
Well, okay. Well, we don't know. Like none of us know, right? We're not privy to that, so it could be the case. But either way, I would like to see Ullmark in the net against LA, because to me, they're obviously better than the Ducks.
Well, I don't know if it was a last-minute decision. Obviously, Travis Green didn't speak to the media, but Gord Wilson's around the team more than anybody else. And in his goodies today before the game, he said, we expect Linus Ullmark to start. He's 4-0-3 against the Kings in his career. So, je ne sais pas. I think that's the most frustrating part, is it's mental errors. It's not necessarily, they missed this opportunity, or the defensive structure wasn't there, or this or that. And defensively, I don't think they were perfect tonight, but it just feels like this team has a mental block when they either go up in games or when situations get tight, that they just don't know what to do. They can't react properly. And we're seeing the detriments of that in another loss for the Ottawa Senators. We'll get into the D-Corps next, because we talked a lot about the forwards, the invisible men up front, but wow. The D-Corps needs its own segment. We do have Sens Central standouts later. We'll get to the chat as well. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub, your pub in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street. When you head there on a Sens game day, let them know that Locked On Senator sent you. They're at 779 Bank Street, which is also walking distance to Lansdowne. PWHL Ottawa season in full swing. They have a shuttle going to the PWHL game at the CTC this upcoming Friday. You can get your tickets at GlebeCentralPub.com. Make sure to select that you heard about it on the Locked On Senators podcast. They're great people at the Glebe Central Pub. It's a local business, and they want to make sure that you have a great time when you head there. Whether you're going just for a pint, whether you're going there for lunch, whether you're going there for dinner, or to meet up with friends, you know there's something new at the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to follow them on all their social medias so you know when they have new events, whether it's live music most Saturday nights, or they've also got trivia and a whole host of other specials at the Glebe Central Pub. So head to where the vibes are free at the GCP and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. It's the Glebe Central Pub, the official pub of the Locked On Senators podcast.
This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out all that fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you're not wasting time searching through thousands of tickets you don't even want. All-in pricing, turn this feature on and it'll show you the price up front. No surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? It's game time.
All right, welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Aleem's Martian. You can find all of us on social media in the link below, and make sure to comment on the Postcast your thoughts on tonight's game. The chat is always buzzing. We appreciate over 215 of you vibing or venting with us on a Saturday night after the Senators fall 5-2 to the LA Kings. Ending the season series, Ottawa goes 1-1. LA goes 0-1. Obviously, that 8-7 barn burner in overtime from October 14th. But that feels like a lifetime ago for the Ottawa Senators, a team that has not been able to win 3 games in a row all season. Now, to be fair, LA is in a top 3 spot in the Pacific, and they won 3 games in a row for the first time by beating Ottawa tonight. But it's like the Sens are allergic to win streaks. Everything that you need for a successful team, Pilsy, it feels like Ottawa they get close, but they can't get over the hump.
Well, Ross, I do have some positive news for you. You mentioned it quickly, but I'm going to emphasize it more so Sens fans can feel some relief. Tomorrow is December 1st. November is over. It's over. November, it's done. Martian and I are going to get our beards back. Although I'm starting to like the mustache, November is done. The Ottawa Senators finish, not a math guy, but 5-8-1.
You heard me say that. You heard me say that in the first segment, I bet.
I know. I mentioned, Ross. I know you already said this, but it deserves emphasizing. 5-8-1. November is over.
Are you questioning my math?
Well,
No.
why didn't you talk about our mustaches in the first segment? I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, Ross.
The mustaches are great, and the Sens Central and the Sens Twitter Movember team that Martian made is still going strong. You can still donate to that on Movember.ca. It's a great cause, and hopefully the Ottawa Senators can flip the script here and get back into the win column. 3 out of 4 would be nice. 2 out of 3 on the road trip would be decent. You don't want to lose the game against Anaheim either way, but they had an opportunity after a brutal game against San Jose where they still get a victory to have a bit of a push. And it's so frustrating how this team gets close but can't get over the hump. Look, Artem Zub's been out, and we mentioned in the first segment, the D-core has not been steady, to say the least. Now, Nick Jensen ends up leading the Ottawa Senators in ice time among defensemen in this game. He played 24 minutes and 19 seconds, yet was suited up on the third pair, the quote-unquote third pair. Now, they did make a few changes because after the first couple periods, JBD was taken off the pair with Thomas Chabot. That did not work. It was a train wreck in the first period, not only on that first goal against, but beyond that, it was just not good. So how do you fix it? Because I'm trying to think of how Travis Green and the coaching staff is looking at this. And I guess they just don't want two potential weak links together. But by doing this, you're hampering your top players. Travis Hamonic had a whatever game tonight. Wasn't good, wasn't bad. It was whatever. But for a fan base that watched, what was it, 3,000 minutes of Thomas Chabot with Nikita Zaitsev?
Too many minutes, yeah.
To move on from Nikita Zaitsev and then basically reincarnate that pair, taking your best defenseman and putting him in with your worst, it just makes no sense to me. It's so mind-boggling that I think it's worth mentioning because although it wasn't a complete negative today for Hamonic, it's another night of all zeros for Jake Sanderson, a guy who should be thriving each and every night.
Ross, I think this goes exactly to where, some of the people who are around the team and like guys like Bruce Garriock, they're reporting that Steve Staios he's in the hunt for a defenseman. So it's no surprise.
It's going to be too late.
They're looking for a right-hand defenseman, and it needs to come. Yeah, you're right. It needs to come now because Zub's going to be out for weeks, right? It's like, you need to address that need because, you can't be putting JBD with Chabot and dragging Chabot down because I think that when he's got a good partner, Chabot's a hell of a defenseman. And it's a shame, honestly, because I think I look at that Team Canada team and I think to myself, I go, like, Thomas Chabot could probably play on that team, but nobody knows it because they haven't seen him play with really good players before. And when he's in that situation, I think that he would be a fantastic defenseman for Team Canada. Anyways, it's not going to get any love, right? That's never going to happen. But that defense core needs help, and that's what they're trying to look at right now. I think that Staios is he's in the kitchen, he's cooking, buddy. Yeah, I think that we're going to be looking at probably in the next 3-4 days after this trip. I can see something happening for sure.
Pilsy, how many shows did we do this summer talking about how the Senators needed to add more depth on the blue line? 20?
Lots. Yeah, lots. It was a third segment for at least a week straight, especially when it was that time in summer where you had some veteran free agents left over, and it's like, well, why not just toss a 1-year minimum at them just so you have some insurance if Tyler Kleven isn't quite ready. And Tyler Kleven's going to have ups and downs like this, but it's been a couple tough games in a row. I know he gets his first NHL goal, and that was a lot of fun, and we're happy for him. But even when you put Nick Jensen, this team's best defenseman this season, on a line with them, still a couple tough moves. And I think he would benefit from just a night off. I think it would be a good idea. And I don't know if you want to segue into this conversation or not, Ross, but it would be a good idea to swap him for Donovan Sabrango for tomorrow's game, in my opinion.
Martian, what's your call tomorrow? Does Sabrango play? And if so, who's he going in for?
Yeah, I think he's going in. That's what.
But who are you taking out, Martian? I want to know your answer there.
Well, so the easy answer would be Tyler Kleven. He's the least experienced guy. They're gonna trying to send a little bit of a message, I think, to the group. But to me, I don't think Tyler Kleven's the problem, right? So it's what do they want to do? Who knows? Sabrango's left-handed, right? So he's gonna be playing on that left side. So
and on the bottom pair.
And it's not going to be Sanderson. It's not going to be Chabot. So that leaves one guy. It's pretty
you don't think Kleven would benefit from a night off?
I think he could. Yeah, let me be real. I'll be real. I think he could benefit from a night off. So and that's hard for me to say. I like Tyler Kleven. I'm a fan of his. I like the way he plays.
Martian, not in a disciplinary all right, you screwed up, you're going to the press box. Just it's a grind of a season. You've had a bit of tough luck lately. Let's get you out for a reset. Game. View the game from up top, a reset. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to strike down on him or say anything too crazy.
No, yeah. So I agree with you then. Yeah, 100%. I think yeah, Tyler Kleven is the kind of guy too. He's cerebral. This guy is cerebral. He's he thinks the game, and every little thing he does is calculated. I think he's going to be one of those players who just consistently and constantly gets better and better. He's going to learn. He's picking brains of other guys, and I think watching the game from that angle for him is going to do him a favor.
He also had a huge hit today in the game too. Like he is.
Gavrikov, yeah.
He's starting to do it. He's starting to punish guys.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not going to find a bigger cheerleading section for Tyler Clevin than the Locked On Senators podcast. But I'm with you, boys. I think one game reset and be like, look, we need you against Detroit on Thursday, and for this 4-game homestand coming up. The wins are going to be absolutely critical after such a bad homestand the last time. The teams aren't even close to what came in, the Edmontons, the Vegases, the Vancouvers this time around. You've got Nashville, the Islanders, and Anaheim after the Detroit game. Like, yeah, we said you'd like to win 3 out of 4 the last homestand. You have to win 3 of 4 this homestand. There's no way around it, especially with how many games they've tossed away. And it's so frustrating right now, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, people listen to the show, we're quote unquote media because you're listening to this through podcast form or on YouTube. But at the end of the day, we're Ottawa Senators fans. We want the team to do well. We don't have a mask on pretending to be journalists on top of that. We are diehard fans of this team, and to see them play poorly and not get results year after year after year is so infuriating. And the fact that there's not a whole lot of depth options makes it even worse. Like, it's not like they can reach in to call up an exciting prospect or get a guy who might be able to make a huge difference. I hope Donovan Sabrango, who looked great in preseason, had a highlight reel goal in the AHL too. Like, the Ottawa Senators need more offense from the back end, but to count on a 5th-year pro playing his to be first NHL game, like, it's just unrealistic. So Postcast number 235, we're stuck at 105 wins. Like, this is what we do, and we appreciate everybody for being a part of it, win, lose, or draw. It's tough times right now being an Ottawa Senators fan. And 5-2, it's definitely a little bit more skewed than I think the game would indicate. The empty netter there obviously adds that element, but they need to turn it around fast, or else I might start changing my tone about holding on to this core as tightly as I have, because we've watched them grow up. Pilsy, you and I were working 3 hours minimum wage in Belleville with a 4-hour commute round trip, watching Norris and Batherson light it up down there. And we saw them develop into 35 goal scorer Josh Norris at the NHL level. And we've seen Thomas Chabot play with Ron Hainsey and Nikita Zaitsev and guys, Johnny Oduya when he first got here. Like, we've seen them, the corpse of Johnny Oduya. He used to be a great defenseman way back. You could say the same about Ron Hainsey, but it's just so frustrating to see the progression being stalled for these great young players that are now just at a point in their career where things just aren't going their way. And beyond, like, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Adam Gaudette, and even Nick Jensen's been a little more inconsistent recently, but again, they've been moving all around. But like, those 3 up front have been the only, like, top end guys throughout the year. You need more than 3 guys to win the game of hockey. That's not a hot take.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think Batherson has been pretty consistent, maybe a little more quietly consistent than those guys, but I'm not getting too down on Batherson. But yeah, the bottom 6 being a complete offensive wasteland is a real issue. I think Amadio should be playing fourth line minutes, in my opinion. Like, there's no part of his game that's really intriguing me right now. Like, I don't see anything from him, and I'm like, this is what he does well. He couldn't buy a goal when he's getting grade A chances all alone in the slot. Like, it's just been frustrating. And like Martian said, like, you got to find a way to get Pinto going. If maybe you have to move him up and get him some better line mates to get him going, that's what you got to do. This podcast knows better than anyone how successful this team is when Shane Pinto's rolling. Is it any shock that this team is plummeting with Shane Pinto being on a 10-game pointless streak?
I think
Not really.
We could give Pinto as hard of a time as we want, and I agree with you. I think he needs to get going as well. But, like, the number one guy that on this team right now who's underperforming, I mean, it's Jake Sanderson.
Yes, it is. It is.
The back end is struggling because he's all of a sudden not doing what he's supposed to be doing at this point in his career now, right? Everybody's expecting different things from him. He's got 1 goal and he's got 1 even strength point, and he's sitting on 14 on the season for points. So it's like, Jake Sanderson.
Not even points wise, Martian. Like even defensively, like how often before this season or even at the start of the year, you're like, oh, Sanderson's so good defensively. And there's so many plays where if you're a Sens fan, you're picking all of those apart. I don't remember the last time sitting at home being like, oh, what a play by Sanderson using his feet to get that loose puck or to break a 2-on-1 or something. He's not even doing that.
I would say that there's like a thing going on with like college guys. I think that it's the schedule for Sanderson. I feel like it's almost too much for him. It's like games after games after games. He doesn't have time to recuperate and recover and like all these things that he likes to do. He's a big health guy, right? Like all these things. I think that like for him, he's just like he's got himself. It's a lot like Chychrun, I think, in Ottawa too, or it's like a lot of mental games going on for him where he needs to just like focus on the game and play the game and get it done right. And lately, he's just like he's so much better than he's been performing, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anthony Cello here, I believe he's a Lisgar legend like myself. However, he mentions Jacob Chychrun has more goals than all the Senators defensemen combined. And look, offense from the blue line, it's an issue, but I don't think it's the biggest one. Be careful because I pulled the calculator out for this mathematics.
Uh-oh.
If you look at the players we expected to take a step forward this year or who were brought in the offseason to help, Nick Cousins, Michael Amadio, David Perron, Shane Pinto, and Ridley Gregg have a combined 6 goals in 85 games. Imagine that as a player you bring in. That's almost a full season. That's 80, let's say 82, and we'll give him 3 games as a bonus, a cushion.
I would throw Sanderson
6 goals.
I would throw Sanderson into that mix of guys.
I mean, at least Sanderson is 6th on the team in points, leads all defensemen in scoring. I know a lot of it's on the power play, but like 6 goals in 85 games. And if you want to just zoom in on 2 important secondary pieces in the rebuild in Ridley Gregg and Shane Pinto, they've got 10 points on the dot. 10 points on the dot in 33 games. It's not good enough.
I mean, Greg is like another Pillsy. Greg, what do you think about Greg's game right now? It's like, what's going on?
I haven't loved it. I think it's been better since they moved him out of that top 6. I think it was kind of clear that he wasn't cut out for that. I get the idea there. You thought maybe it'd be the, Zach Hyman type, not obviously scoring 50 goals, but like back in his Leafs days where he was the grinder on those lines, getting those top talent guys, the puck when they wanted it. But I think I'm at a point, and you guys know me, I'm not too dialed into mock trades and trading guys, but I think you got to look at Shane Pinto and Ridley Gregg, and you got to say there's not room on this team for both of these guys, especially when neither of them is performing, and you got to start thinking about using one of those guys as a trade chip.
But now you're trading at the absolute lowest value.
Totally, but I mean, you like look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I know completely different player, but Juracek was at a very low value, but you look at
6th overall pick though. That's you can fix it.
I know. Wait, let me get to my point. I know they're completely different stories, but I'm talking about the value of where that player is. People can see the skills that player has and say, hey, if we can get him in our system, we know what he's like, maybe a fresh start, and we get a chance to roll the dice on a young player with talent that we believe can be a part of this lineup. Like, especially guys, think about a playoff contending team. Ridley Gregg is the exact type of player you want, a feisty young player on a cheap contract you can put in your bottom 6. That's the type of guy. And I don't want to trade Ridley Gregg. I'm just talking about like you have to trade something that other teams think will have value. And eventually, I don't think Ridley Gregg and Shane Pinto can both be on this team. I don't know where either of them goes. So if you're going to shake something up, again, I'm not suggesting they do this. I don't want them to do this, but that would be an avenue you probably got to look at.
Ridley Gregg has a point or more. He has 2 games with 2 assists each, but he's been held pointless in 15 out of 20 games this year. A lot of zeros.
So bad. What I was going to say was, Pilsy, that was the hottest take you've ever had on the podcast.
Spicy.
Was it?
That was a spicy take. They don't have room for Pinto and Gregg. That's what you said. You go.
I've been saying that for a while, I think.
Have you? Yeah.
Like for now they do, Martian, but when Pinto needs a new deal and Gregg needs a new deal, how do you fit both those guys in cap-wise, and where do they go
they're both worth about $1 million each.
Oh yeah, but I mean Pinto's making 3.75 this year and next, and really Greg's gonna ask for a raise on a league minimum.
But let me
not if he keeps taking not if he keeps jumping on the ice when 5 guys are out there in the third period down a goal with under 10 minutes left. Under 5 minutes left.
Ross, do you not think that was the hottest take Pilsey's had in a while?
No, Pilsey will have a hot take here and there. I thought that
is a hot one, dude.
The fact that he said it could come to a head this season, that's where it gets
again
spicy.
I'm not saying I want that, but I'm saying if the Sens are looking to trade and to actually have something that other teams might value and not big contracts like Josh Norris and injury problems like Josh Norris, I mean Shane Pinto, you could say the same, but like I don't know, that's one of the only avenues I see, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either, Pilsy. I don't like it so much. I'm going to make you do an ad read right here, and then we'll get into our Sens Central standouts. The Postcast, though, always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub, and today's episode also brought to you by FanDuel.
Yes, FanDuel, the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com. Remember, you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com.
Welcome back. It's the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. We're losers here on this show. The Ottawa Senators fall 5-2 against the LA Kings. I'll let everyone guess who pulled up that comment saying Pilsy for GM petition. Aaron says, Ross, Pilsy, Martian, we appreciate you guys. Hang in there, boys. Aaron, we needed to hear that today because win or lose, we have not missed a Postcast since who knows when. It's been a while. Now, Martian will be a hero and say we didn't do a normal Postcast after the home opener, but we did make a video, as we always do.
Is that what Martian sounds like?
Yeah, well, when he's talking crap about the Postcast.
You impersonate me like that?
Yeah, that's the hottest take I've ever had on this show. Do we have Sens Central standout? You know what, boys? Usually I snap it over to you. I'm really nice. I'm really polite. Not tonight. Tim Stützle is my Sens Central standout. 3 shots, scored the goal in this game, played over 21 minutes. He had a couple in that aspect, and I just love watching him play. So he's my Sens Central standout.
We did it. We did Sens Central standouts. There's not a single other player I liked in this game. Like that, Tim Stützle, night in and night out, is this team's best player by far. Like Ross, we debated, and Martian, talk about hot takes. Maybe I'm cooking up some spicy nuggets on this episode, but for the organizational value rankings, Ross and I had a fierce debate for which player is the second most valuable on this team between Sanderson and Timmy. I stuck with Sanderson. The people on Twitter agreed with me. Ross, I don't think that's the debate we're having anymore. And I don't even think there's much of a debate otherwise. Tim Stützle is this team's best and most valuable player.
Yeah, and I mean, Brady had a point tonight. He's now 18 points or 18 games with a point out of 23. He's consistently providing offense.
He's good for sure, but Timmy has elevated his game to another level.
Timmy's insane, man. Yeah. Timmy is such a superstar, and like we obviously had that kind of running, like what do you even want to call it, where it's just like it sounds great in his name, alliteration or whatnot. Not an English major on this show either, but I also look at the development in his game. He's taken such a huge stride forward. So yeah, it's no question. If we did OVRs right now, which we don't do in the middle of the season, Tim Stützle will be number 1 with a bullet. Like he'd be number 1 on a lot of organizations. He is such a superstar. So we're lucky we get to watch him. Without him tonight, this game is so out of reach. Martian, you want to give any Sens Central standouts? If not, I'll give an honorable mention for all of us.
No, I do for sure. But the only I think criticism I would have of your Sens Central standout is that you didn't say that to give it to the German. I mean, you just that's all it is. Just gotta give it to the German.
I put it up to you. I put it up for you on that one, man.
Just give it to the German. Good things will happen when you give him the puck. That's what happens there. I have a quick one. It's Zach Ostapchuk. I think
that's who my honorable mention was going to be. Good.
Okay, perfect. So you throw him in there, and
Okay.
he's a workhorse out there. He's working hard. He got more ice time probably than you maybe would have guessed. He got 10:07 on ice tonight. So and 6 hits, boys. I mean, 6 credited hits is no
Five. Marston's not a reading guy.
Oh, sorry, 5.
Reinhardt had 6.
Reinhardt had 6. Yeah, I'm looking at them. They're just right next to each other there. So
Michael Matteo had 0 for the record.
Yeah, so like those kind of guys like are guys who are fighting for NHL jobs right now, and so Stopchuk for me, I think he did a good job for what he was given tonight. So I would go with him.
I agree.
That's fair.
Okay, I'll give a third one. If Pilsy just doesn't, you want to abstain tonight?
I abstain. Yeah, like this.
Dude,
this is just not good enough for me.
Yeah,
this has never happened.
Job gone. Dude, a goal for Adam Gaudette, and how about 5 blocks? He had a huge block in the first period too. So
he had 2 blocks in his first shift, Ross.
Yeah, and then he got off the ice, turned around, the puck was in the net.
Yeah.
Dang.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I did like Gaudette's game too. I guess I'm just pissed off at where this team is at, and I'm not able to look past Timmy's performance and find any kind of diamonds in the rough. So good job. I'm glad you guys are on this show.
Well, there's a reason why I wanted to get us to these 3 standouts, because beyond Timmy, if Adam Gaudette and Zach Ostapchuk are the other 2 Sens Central standouts, that's great for those 2 guys, and it's bad for the other 16 players on the team. There have to be better players than that on the ice. Pilsy, where is your panic button right now?
It's here. It's where it always is. I'm looking at it. I'm not pressing it, though, because I said I wouldn't press it in November. We are still in November, as Ross said. If you guys were listening in segment 1, we're still in November. Tomorrow is December 1st.
Time to go on a run.
But yeah, it's time to go on a run, because the panic button. Wait, here's what I'll do. Here's the panic button. You guys know it well. Oh, wait, Ross, put it only on me. Yeah.
What a hero.
It's on. That stays on, and it's ready to be pressed. So this is not good.
It's on, but not being pressed.
Not being pressed.
AA, AAA.
What kind of
AA batteries? I got stock too if it dies. Don't worry. We got batteries in this household.
Oh, congratulations. If only you could get the Ottawa Senators battery rolling here to start games. That's, look, obviously the postcast is all vibes or venting. The actual daily Locked On Senators podcast is where you get research and stats, where we're not just getting them off the top of our heads, but like they scored first against San Jose. But beyond that, like they haven't scored first since what? The Philadelphia game?
Yep.
Buddy, that's more than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, dude.
Are we the problem?
No.
I mean, like statistically, Ross, yes. We decided to do this podcast and the team has been garbage ever since. So if you're looking at just the math and on paper, we're not the solution. I'll tell you that. But we work hard. We give it our best. Every time we hit the record on, we're doing what we do. We each got our strengths. We're rolling the lines. We're snapping it back and forth. We're getting power play goals. We're getting even strength goals. Even we get a couple shorties once in a while. But this team is not doing it. So as much as we haven't seen any success, Ross, we had our guy.
Get this. We talked about 2-10-1 when the opposition scores first this year. Make it 0-6-0 when the opponent scores on the road. So when the Sens go down 1-0 in the other team's building, they have a 0% winning probability. 0%. So dial into the first period tomorrow night. It's 8 o'clock Eastern puck drop.
Allmark gets the start. That's big for me. I don't understand why Forsey started tonight. Like Martian said, maybe there's something in the room that we're not privy to, and that's why they went this direction. But for me, didn't make much sense. I need Allmark to have a big game tomorrow because I feel like, especially for me, this team seemed very flat. If on the second half of a back-to-back, this could be a trap game where they're like, okay, we don't have the energy, but we could just walk in and get an easy win on the Ducks. They can't be doing that. Ross, you love the scrappiness of that Ducks team. There's a couple guys on that team that maybe are a little young now, but give them time, and they're going to be a really good team, in my opinion. But they can surprise, and they've been playing spoiler, especially with how good their goaltending has been recently. So the Anaheim Ducks are, unfortunately, a team I'm a little bit nervous about, which is sad to say.
But we have to stop saying trap games because the Senators are the trap.
You're right. Yeah,
the Senators are the trap.
Yeah, no,
we're 27th in the National Hockey League.
Oh, it's so true. My God.
I know where you're coming from with that, but like at the same time, it's just like
28th now, by the way. Anaheim's ahead of Ottawa in the standings.
They cannot be looking at any single opponent and thinking that they're going to beat them.
No, you're right.
This team is not beating the teams they're supposed to beat. They're beating teams they should beat, and it's just like it's a whole mess. They're horrible right now.
And how about seeing the commercials? Not tonight because it was a Sportsnet broadcast, but where it's like Chris Neal being like, "Don't want to miss the moment." Like when you're on a 5-game losing skid, it doesn't hit
maybe
the same.
Like let's cancel that ad for now. Where were you? Where were you? Hey, Russ, where were you?
I was waiting for the postcast so I can vent.
I know.
Lily's first loss. Can we talk about that? That's sad. I thought they were going to win the rest of the season, like every single.
It would have been so cool if we could have gotten that going. And hard over hype, Invidious is saying they got to retire that.
I don't mind that mindset, like in theory.
But are they showing it?
No, they're not.
The hype of this team is gone. Like there was hype for this team, and they've just splatted up against the wall. Like there's no like, where's the hype for this team other than the three top guys that we talked about? Like there's no other. It's not like, oh man, can't wait to see what this bottom six is gonna do. Like there's nothing. Can't wait to see what this D core, how many points they can pile up here. Jacob Chikrin has more goals than the whole defense core,
and not by one, by 3,
almost double.
Yeah, 1 goal away from doubling it.
Oh God, it's terrible. But like, what's the problem? What's the main reason that in your minds? Like, what is the one thing that if you could change it about this team that you would?
Their mental fortitude to bounce back when plays don't go their way within a game would be my answer to that question.
Pilsy?
I don't have a good answer because I thought this team was going to be better. I really did. And you know what? Maybe that's on me. I'm a fool, but I don't have an easy answer for you, Marshall.
I think it's the momentum management. I think the momentum management is something
that's the problem, Martian. But what's the solution to that momentum management?
They need to be more aware of the moment. I think that as a team, they're scoring a goal and then thinking that they're like, oh, we're hot shit right now, right? It's just like all of a sudden then they get scored on. And then beginning of a period, it's like everybody feels good. We're all coming out. It feels good. Fresh ice, everything. And they're just not ready. And I don't know it doesn't, to me, like everybody goes, oh, it's a coaching thing, but it's not, because we've had multiple coaches now where this has been the same issue. It's a player thing. It's these
coaches
guys.
Is so far low on my blame pile.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
in my blame meter. So
Same
low.
here.
But however, one thing, and it's beyond the delay of game penalties, which they got 2 tonight for too many men on the ice. 2.
That's so many this year. Like so many. Is there a way to track those?
It's a recurring theme.
There's got to be a way. Let us know in the chat. How can we track how many penalties of a certain type the Senators have had? I know that Pierre Dorion would probably have searched cross-checking minors and taken all the guys at the top of that, the best cross-checkers in the league. But beyond that, boys, like 2 of the goals were directly because of bad line changes as well. The opening goal and then the goal at the start of the third period.
I've got it here, Ross. Oh my God, this is
How'd you
good.
find it that fast?
Usually I'm not the stat guy, Ross. This is
Yeah,
a big moment for
stats
me.
guy.
Let's
It's stuck in
Pilsey's
there.
buzzing
all
tonight.
right, here we go.
Why don't you do that more often? Come on.
Yeah,
Couple
dude.
rum and cokes in me, and I got the hot takes and the stats going. Let's go, boys. So what team is dead last in the league?
Ottawa.
No, that's the Nashville Predators. They have 7 bench minors.
Oh, I thought you were saying which team's dead last in bench minors, not in the standings. I just said the Sens are 28.
Okay. Well, I didn't ask who was 28.
Well,
No, I thought you said who's dead last in like who has the most bench minors.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I meant who's dead last in the standings.
Okay, Nashville next.
Okay, they are also dead last in bench minors.
Well, they got a
pattern to go with.
They got a bench minor for starting the wrong lineup.
Yeah, true. Before the puck even drops, they had bench
Oh my
minor,
god,
yeah.
that was the worst one of the season. Okay.
They have 7 bench penalties. The Ottawa Senators are next with 6. So anytime you're handcuffed with the team that's in 32nd in the standings in any stat,
We don't like
that's bad. That's bad.
Where's the top playoff team on bench minors? Like, are the Sens
Hey, you
tied?
don't have any.
Well, I mean, the LA Kings have 5, and they're tied with Washington and Philly for third, right under Ottawa.
So you just can't have more than 5.
Is there any teams that have none?
You guys are making me work here. Yes, there's one team that has none, and it's
wait.
Let's guess.
Go ahead.
Ross, you go first.
The Florida Panthers.
Nope. Marshall.
Colorado Avalanche.
A team that recently did a coaching change, the St. Louis Blues.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
But again, it's not always on the coaches. Like more often than not, I mean, you can blame them, but I don't see how anything coaching wise could have made really Greg do that like that. I don't know.
Amazing.
Dude,
boys, this is the third straight.
We should have let the chat try to get it. That would have been so fun.
They did. We had some tries. Chris said the Jets. Jimmy said the Oilers, and the Overmaster said the Sharks.
Sorry, that's my bad, chat. I should have given you some time.
A little more time.
My bad.
Next time, hey, we'll live and learn. This is the Ottawa Senators' 3rd straight Saturday night loss, and they had won their previous 3 Saturday games. So it's kind of also frustrating, too.
Yeah.
Pillsy, final thoughts after a 5-2 loss for the Ottawa Senators?
Final thoughts for me is I'm looking at the AHL, Ross. The Belleville Senators get a 2-0 win. Levi Merlainen comes back, gets the shutout. Zach McEwen, AHL Wayne Gretzky, scores another beautiful goal. I mean, at least the Belleville Senators can win a game here. Martian, you like that or not?
I love that, Pillsy.
Pillsy, this is some of your best work.
You're a company man if I've ever seen one, buddy. That's great.
Hey, company man.
Dude, McEwen is so good in the AHL.
So good, dude.
He's so good. And Bialele, I probably mispronounced that, sorry. We appreciate the heck out of you. I said the goal was unreal, too.
Was it?
It was.
I don't know. Haven't seen it. I better get my research in, though. I'm on the call next weekend with
You've
Footy.
seen it. Didn't you retweet it? Or you
Nope.
commented on it?
Nope.
Oh, darn.
I was watching the Sens game.
That's where I got that quote saying Zach McEwen's the Gretzky of the AHL. You said that.
Oh, yeah. During the game, I'm more just replying in my mentions. I don't always see what people are talking about.
Okay, fair.
Just replying. Spanish Flea with a great point here. Remember to like the video, share it with your friends.
Nice.
We're doing what we can here. Except always Sens, we are not bringing back the losing music.
I'll just say quickly on this. I liked it because everybody hated it and it made us want to win more.
Okay, Pillsy, if the Senators, I'll make you this deal. If the Senators get to 20 losses before 15 wins, we bring it back for the rest of the year.
Oh, sick. I love deals that I win when the Senators lose.
I hate that. I hated that music so much. I hated it more. It was the worst. I think I hated it more than anyone.
It is the worst music that's known to man. I still have it in the library, though. Like, we can pull it out at any moment. So
delete
beware.
it now.
And you'll be surprised to know that is royalty-free music. A company, Apple, is not using that in their comformers.
We should actually get paid every time for all the lost viewers that we get each and every time. For me, the final thoughts. I know Pilsy turned on the panic button. For me, tomorrow is a must-win game. Must win. Absolutely no excuses tomorrow.
Sad.
Linus Allmark in goal. Anaheim Ducks. If you lose to this team, and what would that then make it? Because you go winless in 5, you win 2, then you lose 2. You're right back to being just a trash run. Because we're able to compartmentalize. We're good at that. Where it's like, yeah, they lost 5 in a row, but hey, did you see they won 2 straight? But now if they lose 2 more, then we're like, wait. Now you're 2-6-1 in your last 9 games. Now all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you win the 4-game homestand, all 4 games, and you break even on 13 games. Yeah. NHL 500. So it's a must-win game. Martian, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Chat, do we agree?
Yeah.
Chat, is it a must-win game tomorrow?
It's a must-win game.
I almost would be more inclined to say no matter what happens up against the Ducks tomorrow, the game against the Red Wings will be a must-win.
It might also be a must-win.
I think that's going to be an automatic win, boys. We got Danny Heatley coming into the building. Jason Spezza, the Pizza Line.
Are they bringing their gear?
No, that's the must-win. Yeah, if they lose on the Pizza Line reunited game in Ottawa up against Detroit,
maybe it breaks the curse, boys. Maybe it breaks the curse. We don't know.
We've had slump busters. Lily did her best.
How many of the guys who are on that team right now, the Sens, know about what the Pizza Line actually achieved?
Claude Giroux.
No, I think all of them.
Do you think they really know, though? Do you think they really know?
It's longer than you think, Ross, and we're older than all of those guys.
Way older. And I think that, by the Sens fans showing major appreciation for that era, it might give these guys a little bit of perspective of what they're not doing and how they can get to that. Like, I mean, Danny Heatley can come to Ottawa and drink for free any day of the week, right? These guys aren't on that
people
yet.
Split on Heatley, Martian. I don't think it's as
No. Let's be real. They're not. That was a whole ownership thing, like blah blah blah. He was so fun, boys. He was the best. Was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not saying I am. Yeah,
did he end up kind of screwing up? He kind of screwed us a little bit. Like whatever, he asked for a trade, and like there was a whole saga. That's what happens. It's a business. I think to me, Danny Heatley was a good Sen. Great Sen.
Amazing. Yeah, dude. His records still stand.
Let's show it that way. Let's give him his flowers. It's time. Right? Let's forgive and forget here.
Hey, good thing they're doing that at the start of the homestand and not the end, because I don't need an 07 rematch with the Ducks in town for that one.
Yeah.
They are what stood behind. Like, if the Ottawa Senators win the Cup that year, every player on that team knows about Spezza, Heatley, Alfie.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to say that.
Though. It's crazy though. They didn't play Scott Niedermayer with Kent Huskins in that series.
No, the crazy.
The Senators are the only team that plays their best defenseman with their worst defenseman. They're the only team that does that.
Them being in the finals wasn't even their best chance at a Stanley Cup. It was 2017. If they would have beat Pittsburgh in that double overtime, they would have won the Cup.
I'm with you, Martian.
Because Nashville was so banged up in that. It was automatic. Whoever came out of the East was going to win it. And obviously Pittsburgh ended up doing it. The Sens would have won the Cup if that didn't happen. So we all know that.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
We all know.
Pronger was not playing with Joe DiPiente either.
That was really the closest we ever come.
I mean, people are saying 2003 as well, losing the conference final game 7 to the New Jersey Devils. But
yeah, I was there for that too. Jeff Friesen, that mother.
Yeah, me too, man. That's brutal. And now here we are. After a 5-2 loss, Senators fall to the LA Kings. You boys got anything else, or we can wrap it up? And we got, 9 podcasts this week. We got tomorrow night, the Postcast, right after the Sens take on the Ducks in Anaheim. Anyone want to chime in, or should I wrap this thing up?
I emptied the clip. That's all I got.
All right. The panic button is on, but not being pressed. And it is a must-win game for me tomorrow night for the Ottawa Senators. We'll talk to you afterwards. In the meantime, make sure you're following at Sens Central, at Lalim's Martian. For tonight, we say goodbye. Have a good start to your Sunday, and we'll see how the Senators make it at the end of the day. For the Martian and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check them out for awesome food, great drinks, and on Senators game days like tomorrow, head to the Glebe Central Pub and you will get 10% off your order. They've also got the Sens shuttle going to all of the Sens games on this homestand and on Friday for the PWHL Ottawa game at the CTC. That's it for us. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.